Today we're going to talk about the diagnostic sales process and how you can win in the front end. Estimates are a dead end and blueprint for the win is our mantra. We know that the national average curb estimate at best is 70% accurate. That final 30% is only found at the blueprint. The blueprint is a start of where we make our money. We've worked extensively in the blueprint process in the shop environment and have excelled with our cycle time. We're now going to implement those same processes in the sales process. If you work in the front office at Levander's, you know what a challenge it is. You got a lot on your plate. Today we're going to try to give you a simplified goal of how you win and the customer wins. We know the average accident from loss, whether it be accident or hail, is 28 days. That's industry average across the United States. Of those days, 14 days from the loss to in the blueprint stall or repair started, 14 days from there to repaired and delivered. So we're doing all the complicated parts right here, and this part is still clunky. 14 days, I think that we could do better as an industry. By reducing this 14 days, we can increase the customer satisfaction and increase our throughput through the shop. Our goal should be taking the customer from a loss to a blueprint. Blueprint is where we make our money. Everything beyond that is outside our sales funnel and outside of our goal. We know the best estimators that write a curb estimate are only 70% accurate. That's industry average. So any estimate that we write is a waste of time for us and a waste of time for the customer. We know that our first accurate blueprint estimate is in the blueprint stall. After marketing, we have loss. Loss is either hail, collision, any type of loss. And if we're doing our marketing properly, we would enter the customer into our sales funnel. At the point of loss, the first point of contact generally is your insurance agent. Then they contact us. Our job should be always listen first. Listen to what the customer's story, listen to what their problem is. Once we have identified their pain, then we can bring solutions. Do they need a rental car? Do they have a deductible issue? Is there a hassle getting the repair authorization signed? Do we have trust? Are they educated? Do they want more knowledge? And worst thing they'd want is an estimate. But if we have to, we'll do it, but only for the goal of getting a signed repair authorization and getting the vehicle scheduled for blueprint. It's very important that we use simple words when speaking with the customer. Dent, fix, bumper, fender, problem. Avoid industry lingo like ADOS, DRP. Don't use words like blueprint. Any words that anyone off the street would not understand, do not use them. Just confuses people. The repair process is very stressful and it just adds to the confusion to the customer. Recently, I had a customer walk in the Grand Island shop and I caught him in the parking lot. He had a van on a trailer and I asked him what he needed, and he said that he needed his car fixed, he needed an estimate. I challenged myself without getting an estimate, without using nothing more in my words, is getting that customer to drop his vehicle in the blueprint stall. After a quick conversation with him, explaining to him that there's a lot of technology behind that front bumper, we won't be able to get his car fixed or him his money as quick as if he could just leave it. Within an hour, he had went home, cleaned out the van, and dropped the vehicle in blueprint, all without an estimate. By using simple words, and not really selling them or coercing them, just showing them the ease that we can make this rather than the pitfalls, we're able to get that customer to drop the vehicle in the blueprint stall that day. There's a lot of technology behind that front bumper. On average, we're going to find $1,000 to $2,000 worth of damage behind that bumper, and without getting that bumper off, I can't give you a complete estimate. So just letting you know that this estimate's going to be short and you're going to lose. Simply stating that fact will usually coerce people into scheduling and dropping for blueprint. It's important for us to remember the most important customer is one that's already in the shop, cars that we're repairing. Second would be customers that want to be scheduled. And third and last would be customers that simply just want an estimate. Although we know we may be able to secure someone to schedule off of an estimate, it is only a secondary option. Preferably, first they'd sign the repair authorization schedule and we do one blueprint. You may ask, what's the benefit to this? Who's winning with this? If we can reduce the cycle times from lost to scheduled and in shop, we can make the customer happy and reduce our cost. An example, we had a shop that was very successful and they had a huge hail event. They spent the whole summer writing estimates. They wrote millions and millions of dollars worth of estimates. Our shop production went almost to zero. Our profitability went from one of the top performers to one of the last performers. And they were just working their tails off and making no traction. That is why it's important that we take care of the customers that are in the shop primarily. Secondary are customers that are willing to schedule without an estimate. And the last function should be the estimate. The last tool in our toolbox should be the estimate. I know it's necessary at some points, but avoid it at all costs. And don't try to educate the customer. Only if they ask to be educated should we educate them. Always listening and asking what their pain point is and moving them towards the goal of a scheduled repair authorization scheduled in. If customers leave the shop for whatever reason, we are always removing them from the sales funnel. If we can get the action to happen that day that they're in the shop or they're on the phone, if we can move them towards this, it's always going to be a win. Less action for us, less work for the shop, and easier on the customer. We understand this is going to be a change in the way that we've done business, and we went through a lot of transformation within the company, and this is just a continuation of that evolution. With the complexity of the vehicles, the estimate and the estimatic process is quite frankly a complete waste of time for the customer and for the shop. If we can get the customer into the damage analysis, into the blueprint phase, we can win and so can they.